Hey, this is Matthew.
And this is Andrea.
Welcome to Nerd News today, and we just saw Star Wars: The Rise of
We
Skywalker.
did!
We saw a very, very early showing, so
8
we're
a.m.
tired and we want to go to sleep
We got up really early.
just to see the Star Wars movie. We didn't do a midnight show like a lot of people did. We waited till the next morning.
We were stupid.
Yeah, there's really no winning in this scenario, but we saw it.
So stupid.
We saw it first for a lot of folks, and we're hoping that by now you've also seen it. Because guess what, folks? We're going to review Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and it's going to be very spoiler heavy.
Spoiler.
Are we gonna do a non-spoiler? Oh, you're just doing spoiler magic?
Yeah, spoiler
All right.
magic. Spoilers. You can put a big thing right there. that says
I know what I'm going to do, yeah. You don't know what I'm going to do. I can do whatever I want.
You really could. Within reason.
So since this will be very filled with spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie, you should probably come back to this after you do.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be super spoiler heavy.
This is going to be probably pretty disjointed, just running our mouths, seeing what comes out of it. There's
Yeah.
not really any order to this.
There's going to be some verbal diarrhea.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys. But to be honest, the movie kind of inspires that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot happens. I feel like that's the first thing we can get off about this movie, is that it is the longest Star Wars movie at 2 hours and 35 minutes.
I didn't even realize that. I didn't feel that way.
I gotta be honest with you, yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, it's over?
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, when we saw the last two in theaters, especially the last one, 2017, I was kind of dying for a lot of it. I was like, it's still going, make it stop. This time I was like, oh, it's over?
Yeah, I had some...
But in a very good way.
Yeah. No, I wanted more. I also didn't, but I wanted more.
This movie really moves at hyperspeed. It does not. So, like, once it begins with the opening crawl, you're in, and you cannot get out. And speaking of, I'd love to know in the comments when you took a bathroom break, if you did, because that was like the biggest thing, was for us trying to figure out, when do we go to the bathroom?
Well, I want to make sure we're clear about this. I don't normally go to the bathroom during movies, but
It was early.
it was early, so
It's long.
Your body's still waking up. You still have. This was literally we wake up, roll out of bed, and get to the theater. So it was a rough morning, man. It was rough.
Yeah.
We were definitely not feeling this morning.
So, so our big thing was really like, when can we sneak away for a minute or two to go to the bathroom?
If we needed, yeah.
And there's like no time. Like, this movie is so tight. Like, they did some amazing editing on this. Not just like how they composed the narrative and the script for it, but more just how they edited it, that they made the most of each scene, and they knew, like, let's cut this part off right here because you got enough information to just go to the next thing. And
Yeah.
they really made it so tight and so well paced.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I would say it was well paced. I think the fact that we weren't able to get certain breaths in there, sometimes it was a little bit to our detriment. There's one moment that we will talk about later because I don't want to put in a huge spoiler this quick and early. But there was a moment where something really big happens and it's like, oh my god, did that really happen? And then they jumped right into the next thing and it's like, oh god, please, just give me a moment. Just give me a moment to process this.
Like, there really is no breathing time
There
at all.
really is. And there are maybe like 2 spots where it kind of slows down a little bit. But even there, you still want that information because it's important stuff that's happening.
And so much happens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into the top of the movie. The opening crawl, the first words, the dead speak. I was like, what is going on?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The crawl basically just says that Rey's off training, the rebels are trying to get their shit together, and a group of them is going out because a message from Emperor Palpatine showed up. And no one knows what the deal is with that. So one crew is going to trying to track the signal.
Check out Palpatine's pirate radio station.
Exactly, and Kylo is also trying to track down Palpatine. And that's pretty much the gist of what everything is. And then we go right into the action, which is Kylo beating killing a crap ton of soldiers.
It's the thing he does, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, what the hell? He's just going nuts, and because he's in search of some device, and that takes him to Palpatine.
He's in search of the MacGuffin for this movie, which is that little pyramid that has the locations of where Palpatine and his cult are.
Which is the very cleverly named Wayfinder.
Yeah. And it's really cool, though, because they just jump right into that, too. Like, they don't hold off on Palpatine. You get him in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's like
he is just there. And that brings us to actually probably like one of my very few critiques, because overall we both really, really enjoyed the movie. But it's almost like I feel like they should have put a warning on this one for like epilepsy especially.
Yes.
When we visit Palpatine's little home, there is so many flashing lights because there's so much lightning around him all the time. It's constant. It's just really like, I got problems with flashing lights, and I had to close my eyes for a lot of the scenes of Palpatine throughout the movie because it was just too much flickering on and off, like really aggressively.
I think overall, in terms of the movie, the contrast of the lighting, not just with the strobing, but also during lightsaber battles and stuff, it was so bright compared to the rest of the background in a lot of places that I was also having some problems. Granted, it could also be because it was so early and I'm still really tired, but it was just a lot going on to the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta close my eyes for a second just so my eyes can adjust and my brain could adjust. Yeah, they should definitely issue a warning on that because it was pretty intense.
Yeah. So we basically get right into things. We see that Rey has been training, which is actually one of my questions. Like, my big thing was like wondering, how do you pick up from the last movie where basically all the rebels are dead, essentially, except for a small select few.
But they're important select few.
Essentially, the resistance is destroyed. The Empire is bigger than ever. Well, where do we go from here? And like, what's been happening in the time span? So since then, Rey's been training, which is cool. Like, that's the thing for me was like I was wondering. I'm assuming she's training, but with who? And then we get the reveal.
That's the best part ever. The reveal. Ta-da! Yeah, that's right. I'm doing it this way. Leia is training her. It's the best thing ever because that means Leia is capable of training her, which means Leia's a Jedi.
Because canonically, as we learn a little bit later on in the movie, she actually was training with Luke to be a Jedi.
But yeah, so Leia's a trained Jedi, and that's just friggin' awesome.
Yeah, that's cool because it kind of like hinted a little bit about her powers in the last movie, especially, and now we notice how far she went, and how really in tune and powerful she is.
Yeah, I mean, we always knew that she had all this power. She's a Skywalker, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But we never saw her use her power. She always seemed like she turned away from the path of the Jedi. It's nice to know she finally tapped into that, and that's, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Anyway,
well, what's interesting about that, and this kind of leads in, again, we're going to jump around a lot, folks, but not to go too far ahead, one of my big, like, I guess, points about this was, like, the sudden power existence of a lot of people. This is some Dragon Ball Z stuff here. Like, Leia is now, like, you know, got powerful force abilities, and now suddenly so does Rey. She has, like, an ability we've never seen ever, and that's healing people. Never foreshadowed in any way, never been mentioned, really, in anything else, I feel like, canonically. She can force heal, which is pretty huge, and that's, like, pretty pivotal. I feel like this might be a point that gets picked at a lot from other critics.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm kind of wondering if, in a weird way, it was sort of mildly foreshadowed in, forgive me for saying this one, but Phantom Menace.
Really? When
Qui-Gon talks to Anakin's mom about the Force, but just in general, when he's talking about the Force, because I don't know if it was when he's talking to his mom or talking to Anakin or whatever, but they're talking about the Force and, you know, how it's life, you know, it's part of nature, it's part of life. I mean, I think it's, in general, it's the Force, so I would make the assumption that if you can kill, you could probably heal with it because it's all about balance. It would make sense that since the Force has destructive abilities, it would also have healing abilities.
That's definitely a good point. It's just something we've never ever really knew that you could do with Force power.
They never explored it, and this is definitely a weird way to suddenly explore it, but
because it really is kind of the Deus Ex Machina for the film.
It is.
We'll come back to that point. But...
yeah, but I will say that I think one of the overall themes of the movie was balance.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So you had your light and you had your dark. So I guess it kind of makes sense that they finally explored a light side of the Force in that way.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
we do get some pretty epic Force battles here.
Oh my
like,
god,
man.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think we just kind of start running down what we like, what we didn't like, really, instead of giving the whole synopsis plot.
Yeah, because this is just really hard to do.
Yeah.
There's so many different thoughts.
So it was really cool seeing all the characters back together again.
Yes.
Basically, it's like they're like the best friend squad.
Really
and this is where I kind of like started to have, not a critique in any way, really just like a thing I noticed. I felt like this movie kind of pulled a lot from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I can see that.
I feel like they, because let's be honest here, Star Wars films, they tend to steal a lot from the best. If it's not Akira Kurosawa or something else, it's it's a ton of different things.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this case, they pulled a lot from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which has basically Jedi-like people with Force-like powers that can do all sorts of different things.
So they originally stole from Star Wars, and now Star Wars is stealing from them.
Basically, yeah, it kind of went full circle, because what we see with Rey especially is like she almost goes into an Avatar state a few times. Like her eyes don't go blinky, whatever.
No.
But she definitely has like Avatar state-like things that happen in the movie.
Yeah.
Like they really push the threshold of Force powers in this movie.
She is all of the Jedi. The Jedi are all of her.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big thing. So when you hear all their voices and sending the Sith,
spoiler, you hear all their voices. She's the Jedi are all her.
She is the Jedi are her. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, all right. It's just, it felt very Avatar-y, but I like Avatar, so I'm very fine with that.
Yeah, same.
I don't know how people are going to feel about it, but I'm totally okay with Avatar references in my Star Wars movies.
Yeah, so
It's full circle.
And plus, it was done really well, so I'm definitely not gonna complain about that.
So I'd like to talk about the evolution of all the characters from where we saw them in the episode 7 to where they are now. And I feel like not only have the characters matured a lot, but the actors have matured within the roles. That's been a big thing, because I remember I didn't really like, I think almost everyone didn't like Kylo Ren in the first movie, because they were just like, oh, he's whiny and bratty. But like, we've seen the reasons why, we've seen his motivation, and we've seen him grow as a character, growing as a bad guy and growing into what he became in the movie. Now, he went through a pretty interesting growth.
He really did. I know everyone said that they hated whiny Kylo Ren. Yeah, I hate that he's whiny, but he makes sense as a whiny character. He is a wounded child.
Yeah.
You know, trapped in a man's body. And that's really what he is. And everything made sense. His motivations made sense. They were horrible and they were pathetic in many ways, but now he's grown in a way, but he's still really messed up. And that wound, that like child wound that he's had is still very present. And that plays a huge role in his entire arc. And it's done in a much better way. Like, I think the writing was a lot more solid in terms of how they handled that. I don't even think he really matured up until the very, very end.
Yeah.
It isn't until the very, very end that he really hit like a massive maturity. But the thing is, he did become more comfortable with his power.
Yeah.
Lord, did he become more comfortable as Supreme Leader Ren. You know, that was an interesting thing.
And Rey became more comfortable with her abilities and her training. You know, because we remember in the first movie, she's very, very headstrong. And here, she still is very headstrong, but she's less headstrong. She thinks things a little bit better.
Yeah, and also just, she understands, she's still really afraid of her abilities. And she goes through a power surge, essentially, during the movie, and that scares the hell out of her.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's normal. You're supposed to be scared out of hell. But when things happen and you're causing mass destruction, it makes sense to be scared. You know.
So on that note, then, what did you think about the force battle between Rey and Kylo?
Oh my God, that was. I have issues with that entire thing. The battle itself is really cool. Them, battling over that transport and all that. That was really cool. Except what happened afterwards. When the lightning comes out of her, and that that fucked me up, man. I literally was like, my mouth was hanging open because of what that potential ramification meant.
Yeah, although that part was pretty cool because it also began to show us just how powerful these force powers are.
Yeah,
and that was pretty important to build up things later on.
Oh yeah,
like,
it was a good build.
We've seen the force abilities they can do with the Emperor, zapping Luke and Darth, but we've never seen just what they can do. The fact that she could blow up a ship, that's pretty powerful stuff. They really made these like Omega level mutants basically right here.
Yeah, but at the same time, don't fuck with me and Chewie. You don't kill Chewie.
I mean, there was like so much people worrying about who's gonna die, who's gonna survive in this one. Like, it was.
I know, but you don't kill Chewie.
I know. I was so concerned, especially after we see the opening of the movie with Kylo. And the first person we see is Chewie. I was like, oh God, they're going to kill Chewie.
Yeah, that messed me up so bad. I was really that's the moment where I really felt that they should have let it breathe just a little bit. On the one hand, it's kind of cool that they didn't, because it's just boom, 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 boom. You don't get time to digest that. Screw you guys. That's not what happens in real life. So there's a little bit of that, but at the same time, just like, come on, we're telling a story. Just let us breathe. Let us have a moment. Let us gasp. Let us cry and sob, and then surprise us later so we have a bigger reaction.
Yeah, I would have liked maybe a little bit more selling in between, if you will. To put in wrestling terms, more of the gaga in between the action. Yeah. More storytelling, because there is just so much. It's so dense in 2.5 hours.
I think, and one of the biggest problems with that is we lost a lot of character development, and we weren't able to follow as many characters. And new characters were introduced, but we only got tastes of them. And, I wanted more. And quite frankly, Rose got completely hosed.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about characters, let's just jump onto Rose, because that was, I was always mixed. I was a little bit mixed about Rose as well, for different reasons than many other Comicsgate people, if you will, or other people who, didn't like the character of Rose. Because, I did feel like they brought her in because they wanted to get the Asian market. I think that's fair to say. They wanted to hit the Asian market. It failed. It has not hit the Asian market very well, so it still has not been received there. So I feel like they pulled back on her role more so, not because of that, there's people complaining about this random insert female character. It's more because they just realized financially she wasn't worth it. But I think they just killed the whole story.
And I take a slightly different view. I mean, I get what you're saying about wanting the Asian market. I don't necessarily know. I'm sure that played into it. I am. But I also think it might have been that, people were clamoring for more diversity. And they're just like, oh, hey, we don't really have a lot of Asians. Let's throw it in. So I think there was maybe a touch of pandering. I really like Kelly Marie Tran. I think she's a good actress. I think she brought a beautiful life to Rose. I like Rose. But Rose was inserted in a way in The Last Jedi that was not great.
She was intrusive.
It was intrusive. She was forced in. And I didn't appreciate that. Not because I didn't appreciate the character. I didn't appreciate the storytelling. Storytelling was weak.
Yeah.
And then they set up this potential romantic thing with her and Finn. And again, it was weak and it felt forced. But at the same time, I liked Rose and I wanted more of Rose. She was a good addition. And then you come to this, you come to Rise of the Skywalker, and it's like, where's Rose? She got the Jar Jar treatment. Like, she really got Jar Jar'd. I think it wasn't just that they weren't hitting the Asian markets. I think that Disney, I think they kowtowed to all the vocal people who are like, oh, Rose sucks. What's the point of her? All this other shit. I think there was a little bit of that going on.
Yeah, I think I can see that too. Yeah. I personally think Disney chickened out.
I
think
agree.
they cowered it out, and they should not have done that.
No matter.
She has an incomplete story.
Yeah, and regardless of why they did what they did, like you can speculate below as well. I mean, regardless of the reasons why, she got screwed over.
I mean, even Finn just brushes her off in the movie.
Yeah.
When he sees her, like, yeah, cool, and like shoulder pat, walks away. Like,
yeah.
What?
It's
what happened to all their history and like the final battle at the last movie?
She kissed him.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes past
She was near
since
death.
then,
I mean.
Was this really not addressed even the littlest bit? The most we get is her being like, Finn, come on, let's go. At the end, and he's like, no, I'm going to stay with this other cool chick I just met.
Yeah, seriously, which bugged the heck out of me too.
Yeah, and it's just, what is that? That's bullshit.
It's like, because of Rose, Finn got like his sense of who he was more so than anything else.
She
even
saved
more than
his
Rey.
life!
Like, I think Rose, even more than Rey, gave him so much.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, Dominic Gleehall gets more lines than she did. I counted.
Yeah, but I like him.
I felt he was pointless also, actually.
Oh, no, he is kind of pointless, but I always liked him.
There was a few pointless cameos here and there, and that was one of them.
Hux.
I was like...
Oh, no, you mean Dominic Monaghan?
Or Dominic Monaghan, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah. I just made up a name.
Yeah, well, yeah, what's up with... Yeah, seriously.
They just threw him in there. It's like, oh, hey, I'm Dominic Monaghan. Here I am. Hello. And he actually got...
Well,
if it wasn't more... neither of them had a lot of lines to begin with. That's how I was able to count them.
Yeah.
I think he might have had, like... It might have been, like, close, but it was... Between the two of them, they did not have more than 5 lines apiece.
Yeah, which is really funny. I'm just like, did JJ just bring him in because of the Lost connection?
Probably, yeah.
Same with Greg Grunberg. We love Greg Grunberg. I always feel like I'm screwing up his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He's in every JJ thing.
Beardo.
And once again, he dies, which I kind of love. But yeah, Rose got screwed. It was an incomplete story, and like she got it the worst. But I do feel like there were little things missed, like Finn and his "before we die" sinking into this weird, like ball pit. I just want you to know I'm to Rey, and then she's like, "What do you want to tell me?" "I'll tell you later." Later never came.
Really did it?
No.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
There's a lot of like little silly like secret keeping that I didn't understand, other than for the sake of creating tension.
Yeah.
That didn't really need to exist because it really had no payoff.
Yeah.
Other than Palpatine.
Yeah, Palpatine was the only one, and Rey's origins.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. That, so whoever had those theories back a few years ago, hey, you were right.
Yeah, right. Congratulations. You get to go around telling everyone you were right. But don't be too obnoxious about it. Just see if you can get them to buy you a drink or something. Let's talk about that for a hot second. That was pretty cool reveal.
Yeah.
Who is she? She's like, yeah, no, she was totally sold. Her parents were nobody.
Especially like with the way the movie is titled, you were assuming that she's actually a Skywalker.
Yeah. Which would make the whole tension between her and Kylo just really uncomfortable, and again, a little too reminiscent of Luke and Leia.
But in reality, the movie actually is the Rise of Skywalker.
It is.
It actually is.
But that's a chosen thing, not as opposed to a biological thing.
Well, it's that, but it's also that, it's not just that she takes the name at the end.
Yeah.
But it's more that the Skywalkers have completed everything.
Very true. You're right. It is a complete story. Of this one family, it is a complete tale. And I think that's one of the best things about it. It is a complete saga.
Really ties into everything. Like, finally, there is a lot of fan service. Can't deny that there's a lot of fan service. But as a whole saga from episode 1 to episode 9, I mean, everything is now wrapped up in a tight little bow, and it all came together.
And
who knew?
You're right, but it also, because of how they set certain things up, we now have, some space for some spin-off stuff that doesn't need to take place in the Skywalker section of this universe. We have some fun little places to go, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'd actually really like them to explore the Siths more. I'd love to see a Sith movie.
Yeah, maybe they'll do a Darth Maul one day, give him his own movie.
Nah, I don't want Darth Maul to get his own movie, but I'm just, origin of the Siths, where do they come from, how do they exist, all that junk, I'd love to see something like that.
So we had a lot of nods to the past, and there was a lot of a trickery, if you will, throughout the movie of, like, who's gonna get off, basically. Like, we already talked about Chewbacca, then there was the C-3PO drama, and especially in the trailers where we were like, is C-3PO gonna die somehow?
Oh my god, that was so messed up. I was not okay.
Yeah, that was a rough one. I was like, man, they're...
No, and he did it.
My heart was almost, it was just repaired from the Chewie situation. I think at that point it was.
Oh my god, the Chewie situation. Yes.
No, Chewie still wasn't rescued yet at that point. But,
oh my god, the whole thing was just... I was not okay for that whole time period. I mean, C-3PO, yo... Who knew he was so brave?
Like, this was the most 3PO's done, I feel like, in the entire 9 movies. Like, and because he's done stuff, like, and, like, I remember in Attack of the Clones where he had his big sequence, but it was comic relief.
Yeah.
He was used as more comic relief in the prequels.
Well, even now he was comic relief.
He always has been. This was, like, the first time where he was actually, like, competent and helpful.
Yeah.
Since, like, maybe Return of the Jedi, where he helped out Luke, but even then he was still pretty much incompetent in other ways.
Though, can I just say, there's, like, that one moment where everyone's running towards, whichever ship it was, and C3...
So many ships.
I know, right? And 3PO's like just so far behind. Like, don't forget me. But what was great is, since it was a wide shot and she was just so tiny, I really appreciated that they made sure to keep that in.
Yeah.
That you just see C3PO here, everyone's over here, and he's like, don't worry, I made it.
There was a lot of good comedy in this movie too. Like, the last 2 movies, I felt like any comedy they had was kind of just, like, thrown in and didn't really feel like it fit.
It felt a little forced.
It could be funny, but it didn't really feel like it would fit in. This time around, it actually all worked. There was heavy emotions across the board from everything. You had your sadness, you had your happiness, you had your laughs, you had your cries. There was a lot going on emotionally in this movie. It was a big...
This is a roller coaster. This really is... This movie was a roller coaster.
It really was. What part did you cry over? Let me rephrase that question. What parts did you cry over?
I don't even know. Like, the Chewie thing had me just, like, my mouth... I couldn't breathe. Like, I really couldn't. My heart was just stopped.
I mean, I felt the Force, and I knew that he was okay because they didn't show his body.
I don't care. I suspected that he was probably alive, but just the fact that they even did it, I was just like...
It was pretty great. As unceremoniously as it was cool because it's like, oh, wow, that's how destructive her powers are.
Yeah. Oh, thematically, I loved it. Yeah, but at the same time, it was just like, oh, God, no. And then, going into 3PO, and I'm like...
Yeah, that was rough. I was like, oh no, they're gonna wipe his memory.
Oh my god.
But it was also played a little bit for some comic relief, and the fact that he mentioned R2's got backups, it's like, all right, well, there's hope.
Yeah, exactly. But they were gonna be unreliable, so I was like, this is gonna be a fun backup, whatever it is. Ben Solo, man, that got me at the end.
Yeah.
That got me at the end, and I didn't expect that.
Who knew you'd cry over Kylo Ren?
Ben. At that point, he was Ben freaking Solo. Also, him talking to his father.
Yeah.
That got me.
Leia.
No, we're not going there yet. I'm not ready for that one yet. We'll get there in a moment, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. Luke showing up.
That was pretty fun, yeah.
That was fun, but at the same time, I was feeling kind of emotional at times there, especially towards the end.
When he pulled the X-Wing back up.
Oh my god, that was so awesome. Yeah, basically, like, there's a good chunk from, like, Chewie's supposed... Chewie falling to his knees?
That was the worst.
Oh my god,
when he found out that Leia had passed away.
Again,
We're going there. We're getting there.
Shut up, I'm not ready yet. But yes, him falling to his knees, oh my god.
Yeah, that was way rough for me than just, like, seeing her go. When Chewie hears it, oh man, that was heartbreaking. He's been through the worst.
So much.
Lost his best friend. He lost Leia. He lost Luke.
We really are humans really are dogs to him.
Yeah, and he survived all of them.
They said he was 250.
Yeah.
It's like, god damn.
He outlasted almost all of them.
Oh god, yeah, except for Lando. Of all fucking people.
Not surprised.
Not either,
Yeah.
but still, it just there was so much pain, and then even when there was the small chance that we might lose Finn,
Yeah.
I was like, are they doing this?
Like, they really teased so many people dying, and it actually felt kind of real, which was nice.
Yeah.
The stakes actually felt more real in this movie.
It
Maybe
felt like
because
there
it was
were
the
stakes.
end. Yeah. Maybe because it's like, we know it's the final movie and they got to go big.
Yeah.
And like, I'm actually pretty happy that not as many big characters died.
I know. Oh my god. I don't think I could have handled it if
I actually thought Chewie was gonna die, which would have been horrible.
he was the one that I couldn't handle that one. Like, really, I think I could have handled the deaths of certain other characters, but he's the one that I don't think I would have been okay with.
That would have been terrible, but that would have been like the real, like, if they had done that, would have been a big risk.
No, there would have been riots. You don't fuck with
That's
Chewie.
probably why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But
Fine. Fuck. I don't want to do this.
Space Mom.
Shut up. You're gonna make me cry, and I don't want to cry on camera. I think how they handled everything was really well done. A lot of the scenes, you could tell they were just kind of generic throwaway lines, so it didn't matter what the context really was, so you could create a story around it, and I think they did a really good job.
They really hit it well.
Yeah.
Generations who won't know in 10 to 15 years now, who won't know that she passed away, they're not going to know that this is all done in post.
Yeah, I mean, they might think that there's a body double there going, oh, that person's hair looks a little different, or the position looks a little off. You know, there was a little bit of that. You could tell when there was a body double, but it wasn't so noticeable that you're like, ugh. You know, it wasn't like the Crow kind of level of bad. Yeah. I mean, there's also that moment where they do the graphics and you see her and young Luke. That was hilarious.
So that's an example of hiding your special effects that aren't as good. Mm-hmm. And more movies should learn about what they did, because, you know, again, we saw that kind of same Leia model used in Rogue One.
Yeah.
At the end of Rogue One. And this time around, you know, they used Luke and Leia young face models. But they kept it... The shots are, number one, in the dark.
Yes.
So you can't see as much.
Yeah.
There's less information, but you get enough to see who they are, and they don't linger on the shots.
No.
So, because even that Leia model was not the best. Luke looked actually really good. Yeah. Leia was not as good, but they just, you know, they gave you enough to give you a taste and not full on cats, like or Sonic the Hedgehog. You know,
we don't talk about those.
They did a good job of hiding it, because meanwhile the rest of the movie, it's like amazing.
Yeah.
And so many great physical effects, by the way.
Yeah. Oh
so many physical effects which, you know, amazing.
We'll get to that in a moment. We're going to still talk Leia, though, because I don't want to keep going back to this in that way, because dude, that was rough and beautifully shot.
Yeah.
And I think everybody did, like, really everybody stepped their game up, just everybody. But seriously, that whole Chewie on his knees thing, I nearly lost it, because it wasn't just Chewie just lost Leia. It was...
Got a tear in the eye already.
Shut up. Carrie Fisher is dead. Peter Mayhew is dead. What the fuck is happening? Poor fucking Chewie.
I know.
I just, like, what just happened? And I almost, I was almost gone at that point. Like, I'm like... making horrible snotty sounds, and the person
That's what that was.
Yep, it was.
Huh.
And the person next to me was sniffling like it was just. But like I said, I thought it was beautifully done, and the story ended with her helping redeem her son, and her getting her son back essentially, and I thought that was really great.
So big emotions.
Big, huge freaking emotions.
And of course, when Leia passes on, it gets us to Poe as acting general of the Resistance.
Which I thought was cool, because it shows his growth too.
Yeah, that's something too. We didn't mention earlier when we were talking about characters and their growth, but, you know, Poe, he made a lot of big mistakes in the last movie. And we know there was so much controversy about that as well. A lot of talk about what happened. We didn't review the last movie, even though we obviously saw it.
Yeah.
We didn't review it because it just didn't work out timing-wise, I think, back then. But, you know, his character grew a lot. You know, like, he grew into understanding what his role actually is as a general.
Yeah.
Because we go from him being an immature hothead, again.
Flyboy.
To now, like, still not really knowing everything, but he can command.
Not only can he command, he knew how to ask for help. And he said to Finn, hey, I need help. Join me.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, that's awesome. He's sharing his power. He's saying, hey, I need some help. Let's do this together. That was wonderful.
So much growth.
Yeah.
And Finn gets his family.
I know.
That was a really big one, too. It's like Finn finally gets his family that he never had.
Well, yeah. I mean, he finds all those stormtroopers that also had abandoned their posts. Because they're not like his real family, but they're stormtrooper family.
Yeah.
They're deserters.
With
rebels.
Janna.
Yeah, and her people.
Or as I like to call her, Michonne Daryl of Star Wars. Because she is Michonne and Daryl combined in Star Wars.
Actually, yeah, she's pretty badass. It's kind of amazing.
Who looks like Michonne and has a crossbow or has a bow and arrow like Daryl.
So cool.
And she's totally the Michonne Daryl. I just love how the Star Wars just took both of them and made it into one character. It's like, wow.
Dishon?
Yeah, I guess.
Cheryl?
Cheryl, yeah. Cheryl. I can go with that.
Oh, we're terrible.
So we got Walking Dead, we got Avatar. What else did they steal from? Oh, we got Dio. So we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Dio, okay, can we talk about
Dio? It was Dio all along.
Dio was actually really cool because I love BB-8. Don't get me wrong. I love R2. I love the droids in general, but sometimes it feels a little forced. Like, oh, we gotta do something cute here. Silly and cute and interesting and wacky. You know, sometimes it feels that way. And with Dio, I wasn't 100% sure what we were gonna get. You know, because every movie seems to have a new droid of some sort.
Sure.
And, you know, it gets a little tiresome after a while. But Dio was pretty cool because...
Dio was complicated.
Dio was complicated, but Dio wasn't, like... He didn't take over. Dio didn't take over the story, you know? She's like, okay, so he's just this cool little droid over here doing his droid thing. Clearly he's been hurt, but he also has valuable information, so okay, he's valuable, but not in the way.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Because they didn't really have time to linger on that kind of stuff either.
No.
Because they got to move along with the movie.
Because there was so much!
Oh my god, yeah. It's like, man. So,
So what were your thoughts on the Leia stuff, though? Because if I have to go through the pain, you do too.
I'm all verklempt. I feel the exact same way. So we basically already went over that. I felt the same way pretty much. It was rough. They did it really well. And her funeral, they handled it really well. Everything was just perfect. Although I felt like Lando walking in was a little cheesy. But it's like he was the one who had to pass the torch also. He was the one who ultimately passed the torch to Poe.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Lando. And Lando, again, he shows up just like he did Return of the Jedi. In the sky. He's just hanging out there somehow.
He just knows when to show up.
He really does.
He's just got a...
It's kind of funny that he was just conveniently in that first village they visit in Bollywood Town.
Yeah, right? What's up with that?
Very convenient. He's just there. But yeah, I mean, Lando was a welcome addition.
Yeah.
The big thing is that there's just so many characters this time around. They really had to like make the most out of very few lines, everybody all around.
Yeah.
Like even the Weasley boy, you know, they had to make the most out of him too.
No.
Even he had a redemption story.
Yeah, that was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't even a redemption story. It was just opportunistic story. He was like,
Which I love. And
oh, how great was that? He
like,
was still a villain, but he was complicated.
Like when they introduced the Regent General Pride, I think he was there to kind of like mislead you, make you think he was a traitor because he's the new character.
Yeah.
My thought was like, no, it's the Weasley boy. Because
I had a feeling it was going to be Hux.
Yeah.
I had this weird feeling.
He had the motivation.
Yeah. It's just like he hates Kylo. So.
And it was amazing. He doesn't care. He just hates Kylo. It's so perfect and imperial.
Beautiful. Oh my god, was it just beautiful.
And I gotta say this, if we're gonna talk the Empire and the Final Order, great cinematography on the shots with the Star Destroyers. Like that is straight up Nazi World War II propaganda. Those shots they used, amazing stuff. Like great that they did those. Like those are chilling shots. Like not only just seeing the Star Destroyers rise up, but the sheer volume. And
my god.
And again, that shape, it is Nazi propaganda. That was like perfect.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty safe to say. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, keep your politics out of my movies," but Star Wars has always been about resistance.
Yeah.
And I feel like the message here was, pretty clear with what they're showing.
Resist.
Make your own jump conclusion of what you want it to be with, but the goal is ultimately resistance, whatever that's going to be towards. Yeah. And just what they did with the Empire now and all the shots and everything, and just how they handle it, and there definitely is a message in this film, but it does not beat you over the head with it. I feel like that's probably like one of the complaints a lot of people have these days with quote unquote woke culture and SJW movies. But I feel like this is the one that makes it approachable for everybody, and everybody can be happy, and if you're not, sucks to be you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like it was like the perfect mix of modern social message, sci-fi fantasy, and just everything you want in a Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was just...
So what I kind of liked also was that they basically held off on any major space action until the very end of the movie. Like, we had a little bit of it in the beginning, but it was just quick, short. Yeah. Especially because the last movie was almost entirely all space. So
this time it was more personal things like the
really
lightsaber battles and stuff.
Oh yeah, the lightsaber battles were so great too. Like classic fights, so they had a lot of good action together. Great chemistry.
Oh wait, there is one moment I just absolutely loved, even though I still don't understand it and they never explained it other than the whole we're like dyads or whatever the frack they call, not dyads, but that they were connected. But that moment where Rey has the lightsaber and is able to teleport
Yeah.
it basically to
Ta-da!
Kylo. I mean, that was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, those are still some of the best scenes I think in the entire
Yeah.
new series. Is like them having their mental conversations.
I love those mental conversations. I mean,
They had a good one too when they were on Side Quest Planet.
yeah, that was very fun.
And like basically you can see like her walls are breaking down because he's able. The more they talk, the more she's losing control, and we see more of the backgrounds.
Yeah, but yeah, I really liked. But in this movie, like I really liked when he realized that she was in his room.
Exactly, because her walls are breaking down now. She's like, they can see each other now. They know exactly where both of them are. That was cool how they did that.
Well, they were also, they were also battling, so that happened by accident.
That was really cool too. The fact that they're that powerful now, and again, it shows the powers of the Jedi's now. They're having a lightsaber
power
battle.
of the Force. It wasn't even the power
Power
of
of the Force, yeah.
Yeah.
Between they're on two different places entirely, and having a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, how ridiculous is that?
Some OP shit here, folks. That's some Avatar shit going on right there.
Yeah, but that was just an awesome moment. But
I did like the giant cult of Palpatine.
oh my god, that was so trippy. And
Hated how that was
scary.
shot, but that was pretty cool though. That was good.
That was actually like really creepily dark. But I almost wish we'd gotten a little bit better lighting on that, so you could really get an idea as to how
Absolutely.
massive this was.
Yeah, because I feel like we didn't really get enough impact with that.
No, it felt almost like a ghost of, like it was like I didn't really believe that people were there.
I wasn't sure if they were, to be honest. I was thinking maybe it was just the spirits of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I thought it was
apparently
like,
it was real people.
yeah, that was just like, oh my gosh.
And I personally think they didn't need that.
I'm also wondering, how do they eat?
How does anybody eat in Star Wars? Because let's talk about that. If we're gonna go there, okay?
There are planets with food, but it's just they're in this desolate, rock-filled place.
No, there's no food in Star Wars. Because look, consider the timeline of this movie.
Well, there was
when
blue
the
milk.
hell does anybody stop in this movie? Yeah, Luke got time to drink some blue nipple milk, but when does anybody here have time to go to the bathroom? Rey's flying around the galaxy, going to the end of the unknown areas. She didn't even take a bathroom break. We couldn't take a bathroom break. She didn't either. She suffered for our bathroom breaks.
I'm pretty sure in the movie world there was long stretches of time as she was flying to different locations because time isn't this compact. It's really stretched out and big. So I'm thinking somewhere along those lines she took a bathroom break.
I want to believe that, but based on her motivations and what she was doing, I don't think she did.
Anybody take
I don't
a
think
bathroom break?
Like at least if you're on the Falcon, there's a bathroom there. But Rey was.
Are you sure about that?
She was in it. Pretty sure. She was in the desert. She was on the water planet. She was on Side Quest Planet. She was on Palpatine's little shithole. She was all over the place. When did she stop and take a nap, have a bite to eat, go to the Star Wars McDonald's?
That is a good question.
I know it's a weird little thing to ask, but it's like, man, this movie just moves so quick. It kind of bothered me.
Yeah,
She's not,
really. It was just like, boop, boop.
There was no self-care for Rey. That bothered me.
Which might explain part of why she was losing it towards the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What did you think about her and Palpatine together?
I liked it. I enjoyed seeing Palpatine. It's like we finally got the answers to what we wanted.
Okay.
It was actually pretty fun seeing Palpatine just back in the films, to be honest. Unexpected little surprise. Bit of a nostalgia, but I liked how scary he was and how monstrous they made him.
Yeah, that part was cool.
Can't wait for the toy of him.
Again,
just wish it was better to look at because it's like, oh, he has red in his outfit. Cool. We won't be able to see that until the toy comes out.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the reds, I like how they added the red to his Kylo's helmet.
Yeah, that was nice too. Helmet was cool.
Yeah, but yeah,
the monkey who helped make his helmet was kind of silly.
Are we surprised at all in any of this?
Not so much. I'm just like, oh, cool, space monkey.
I like Space Monkey.
I know you do.
Yeah, I like space monkeys. Leave me alone. But yeah, I like Palpatine. I like that we didn't get him in large doses.
Yes.
More than anything, he was there. His presence was there. We felt him, but it wasn't all about him monologuing about how evil. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, that was. It's a good emperor.
Right?
It was one of the things. Oh, jeez. That's one of the things I like the least about Return of the Jedi. Actually, is a lot of the Emperor stuff because it's just so much of it.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, man,
it's like we go from Dark Emperor to teddy bears with spears. It's like it's a real tough contrast for me. It always has been.
I love teddy bears with spears.
Maybe that's why people don't like the Ewoks as much. But anyway, it's a different video.
Ewoks are awesome.
Hey, you got some Ewoks in this one, so.
I know we got a little Ewok nod.
Yeah, a little yub.
Speaking of nods, let's hit on that for a sec because that was also a really cool thing that they did at the end when Rey really taps into the whole Jedi stuff where she's all like, "Be with me."
When she goes to the Avatar state.
Be with me.
And she hears all the avatars from the past.
Exactly. That was just like, what?
And we got like everybody who's canonical. Like we got Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn. We got from
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. We got from Yoda. We got from Star Wars Rebels. That Jedi.
I don't remember everybody's name. Freddie Prinze Jr. was in there.
That's his voice. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
God.
That
was pretty cool.
So much going on there. I loved that moment.
I enjoyed that a lot too. And then she did the double lightsaber thing. But yeah, I like that a lot too. Although if we're talking voices, I do want to point out the best sneaky cameo in the film. In the very beginning, when they're doing their whole opening gambit, and there's an alien who gives them a little thing. That's Mark Hamill's voice.
I didn't recognize it at first because I wasn't paying as much attention at that point, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. Mark Hamill's in the movie twice.
It's what he does, though. So he's a voice actor. So
exactly, it's cool. I like that they snuck him in. I feel like that was a way to throw off everybody else who was watching. Like, oh, he's not going to be in the movie because they just put his voice in it.
Yeah.
Nope, he shows up.
As much as I liked seeing Luke in the movie, at the same time, I'm like, since when did I know they established it earlier on with Yoda, but I'm like, these are Force ghosts. Are they really that powerful that they can stop and hold tangible objects? And they can whack people on the head with their sticks and all this stuff. I'm like,
yeah, I was like, he can sit?
Well, the sitting part I don't mind as much.
That was kind of weird to me, actually, sitting.
I feel like ghosts can do whatever they want. But at the same time, I'm like, you're stopping her. It's not just that you stopped her from throwing the lightsaber into the fire. It's that you grabbed it and you're now holding it.
Keep in mind, he force lifted an X-Wing from beyond the grave.
Yeah, but again, ghosts, so I'm willing to go with that one.
We've never seen a ghost that powerful, though.
No,
it's like they really push the limits. Whether you like that or not, that's kind of subjective. I think we can agree we're both okay with it.
Yeah.
But it was quite a bit of a shock that how powerful everybody was in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it left me scratching my head some, but at the same time, it wasn't in a bad way. I wasn't having a negative reaction. I wasn't like, no! Yeah, you heard me. I'm really tired.
It's a good emperor.
The only one I do wish that we had been able to get a little cameo of some sort on was Anakin. Not Vader, but Anakin. I do regret that we didn't get that.
I want to get to that point, so let's just rush to the end. We get our big ending scene, which is Kylo helps save the day, or Ben saves the day. Ben still helps save.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, like the big turning point for Ben was when, after Rey beats him, she heals him.
Yep, she showed compassion and love.
And then Ben comes back in the end, and Rey's dead, and he gives her life back. Yeah. And it's basically his life he gives to her. Yeah. And it's basically, to me, I was like, oh my god, they really went full circle, because that was like the thing for episode 1. And even then, we're like, Anakin wants to bring the dead back from, bring them back from the dead. So it's like, here's that Skywalker, and he's doing what Anakin always wanted to do. He brought the dead back from life, but for good. Yeah,
but he had more selfless intentions behind it.
As opposed to like the Emperor bringing the dead back, which would be Anakin at the end of episode 3, coming back as Vader. Yeah. That was bad way. Now we're seeing the compassionate way. It's like, wow, full circle. That was pretty beautiful.
Yeah, and I loved, like just hitting on Kylo's redemption. A lot of people didn't want him to be redeemed, and I get that. A lot of people wanted him to be redeemed, and I get that as well. And a lot of people wanted him and Rey to hook up. Which
I did not want that.
I ultimately did not want it, but I understood why, because they had a really strong connection. And when you have connections like that, people want them to stay connected in some way. And usually that manifests romantically. So I will say I really like that they continually acknowledge that there was a connection. Rey acknowledged that she wanted Ben, not Kylo. Yeah. Yeah. But also at the end, you get the kind of fan servicey kiss, but then Ben dies. Yeah. And you get like this big brilliant smile that, okay, I'm going to be really honest, I do wish we'd gotten to see more of that smile, because that was such a big smile.
It was a pretty real moment.
It was a beautiful real moment, and I wish the camera had panned just a little bit so you could get a little bit more of his face. Because it was so beautiful, and it was a wonderful way to give the fans what they wanted without making it like a thing. But it was also just, it was just lovely. It was just a lovely moment all around. And I thought, you know what, if you're going to redeem someone, this is a good way to do it. It felt like a solid redemption. Yeah. But, and this is where we both have an issue. After all of that, and at the end of the movie, you see Luke and Leia in Force spirit form.
When Rey's on Tatooine.
Yeah, when she's on Tatooine, you see her in in their Force spirit version, and no one else.
That part bugged the shit out of me, because they shot it. So here's my theory, folks, because based on the way that they shot that scene, it looks like, we see Luke and Leia pop up. Yep. There's a lot of space on the rest of that screen there, and it's not just space. Like I was thinking, oh, maybe like Han and Ben will show up. But then I realized how much space there actually is. There's enough for like 6 people. So I thought they may have wanted to put in Anakin even.
That would have been cool.
They could have brought Anakin back in some form. Like they
could have done.
I don't know. I feel like they were looking to do a big family reunion in that last shot, and that would have been a pretty amazing way to go out.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, and that would have been again like signaling the end of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
But instead, we got 2, and my theory is that they cut that as a last minute decision because it's all green screen shots. They can move these characters wherever they want in the frame. Yeah. So if they had meant only to have those 2 characters, they would have put them center frame, not off to the left side of the screen.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It was really weird and just didn't look right.
Yeah.
So I think they made a weird decision at the end when everything was done. They didn't have any more time to make new cuts. They're just like, no, just cut it here and get out the door.
Yeah, and I will say this. I mean, I don't know if your theory is right or wrong. I mean, it definitely
we may never know.
Yeah, but it definitely has legs to stand on. I will say this, though. Even if they didn't do a huge family reunion, I do think Ben earned a place there. If Anakin can show up at the end of, Return of the Jedi...
Thank you.
Then I think Ben Solo can, show up at the end of Rise of Skywalker because he finally earned his place there.
Yes.
He
preach, Queen.
Really, he earned it and he deserved to be there, and that's something that really was just stood out as a hey. Now maybe they wanted to just make it about Luke and Leia because she was burying their lightsabers. I get it. Really, that's fine. But again, you go into the framing thing is just kind of weird too.
The framing, and then she's taking the mantle of Skywalker onto herself.
Exactly, and that would have been perfect time to have everybody.
Yeah.
You could even bring back Natalie motherfucking Portman.
You could actually, yeah.
You could have had everybody in there.
There was enough space in that frame for everybody, so yeah, come on in.
It
could have been way bigger. And if we are going to talk about that last shot, because we're going to jump in, we're still rushing to the end here. It was kind of weird that she went back to. I guess she went back to just put the lightsabers down, but.
She wanted to see the origin.
It's not like Leia grew up there, though.
But it doesn't matter. She was connected to Luke, too.
Yeah, I know. So it was kind of weird. It was a little whatever. I did feel like that was a weird way to just end it. I guess it felt conclusive, but I was like, oh, I kind of want to see what else they're going to do. Like they're all celebrating. Chewie finally gets his medal. That brought a tear to my eye. So
that brought a tear to mine, but we have different reasons. You're thinking he finally got his medal. I'm thinking that's Han's medal.
Either way, he got a medal. That's what matters. He finally got the medal that he deserved.
Yeah, he absolutely deserved that.
From Maz Kanata, the most worthless character in the entire new movies.
No, she was good. She provided Luke's saber and other fun stuff like that.
That's about it.
She was cool. I liked her.
We never got... you can correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but remember in Episode 7, she's the one who gave Rey that blaster she's been using since then? And she's like, oh, it's never worked for anybody. And then when it worked for Rey, she was like, what? And then it had no payoff. There were definitely a few things that didn't have payoffs.
Yeah.
There's going to be other videos out there of people who are going to be nitpicking these things who are way more hardcore than us. We don't really want to do that because we overall really like the movie, but I was actually waiting for some of those points to be like, okay, what's the deal with that gun?
No, that is true.
And Maz Kanata ultimately really didn't, she didn't do anything in the last movie except one line. She shows up here to have 2 or 3 lines and to give Chewie the medal. Basically, she was here to hand people things.
Yeah.
She was like...
she was also with Leia. She watched over Leia.
She watched. I guess she did that, but for the most part, her role was really relegated to just handing out prizes for finishing your quests.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, one thing I want to talk about, and I want to make sure we don't forget about this, just very briefly. Han Solo.
Get a haircut, you hippie.
Oh my god! Like really, Harrison Ford. Seriously, Matt, you couldn't just get a small trim to match up what you looked like at the end of the first time.
Harrison Ford does not care.
Like, really, Force Awakens, you couldn't just get like a little bit of a haircut.
Han Solo has no fucks to give.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, damn, Harrison Ford, you really just don't care, do you?
Really does not.
But the thing is, it was a beautiful scene.
Yeah, it really was.
And that little nod, the I know. You have like Kylo's, Ben, who's struggling, and he's just like he's dying, filled with all this guilt. Yeah. And it's just like his face. Oh my God, Adam Driver, you did such a damn good job.
A lot of people complain about him being so whiny and bratty, but you gotta understand, folks. Look at now that the series is complete. Yeah. That's what I've been waiting for, is like seeing how it's gonna all end. Because now you have the start to finish. You see the maturation of the characters. Yeah. So you see him go from whiny brat to warmongering crazy dude to Ben Solo, where he finally finds himself.
Yeah, I mean,
it's quite a transformation. It's actually, and that's really I think more so the crux of the title, Rise of Skywalker, more than Rey taking the mantle.
Yeah, I could see that because he stood up. He claimed the title of Skywalker.
He claimed who he was. He claimed his birthright in a way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he claimed back what was his.
Yeah.
He rose up. He did, because he came out of the ground and rose.
Literally.
Yeah.
But still, him and Harrison, man, like really that scene, that was a beautiful, beautiful scene, and at the same time, it's like, Harrison Ford, come on, man. Just a little bit. Try a little bit.
Cut those sideburns, Mattingly.
Like, thank you for showing up. Thank you for collecting the paycheck. But, dude, Like, seriously.
Yeah. But I do kind of wish that, what we see with the end of the movie is basically just the Resistance celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of was hoping for a little bit more. Like,
I would love to know what happened afterwards.
like look at the special edition of Return of the Jedi. We get all the planets celebrating. In this case, we saw Bespin, we saw Jakku, we saw Endor, and we went to Tatooine, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of want to see, like, if they're saying, oh, peace is spread throughout the galaxy, can we not just have the throwback planets? Can we see what else is going on? Like, let's go back to Bollywood Planet. You already got the 3D models. Let's use them. Have them dance some more or something. I mean, I just wanted a little bit more to say, like, if we're really closing out this chapter,
let's close out the
let's
chapter.
really tie up all the loose ends. And that's the other thing, too. It's like, I say Finn got his family, especially at the end. Like, that felt like a really real moment when him, Poe, and Rey hugged.
Yeah,
that was so real feeling. Yeah. But it's like, what else? Because Finn ain't getting the girl. Poe ain't getting the girl, that's for sure. Got shot down by Felicity.
Yeah, right? Seriously, love that. And I love the fact that you don't even really see her face. You see her eyes, but that's
still pretty great, yeah. But I guess I kind of want to see it, like, this might be cheesy. I know a lot of fans are on the fence about this. A lot of the Potterheads, if you look, we're going to talk about Harry Potter for a second. Okay. At the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2, they're all at the train station sending their kids off. I kind of wanted to see something like that just shows us a little bit further ahead so that we can conclusively say this is the end. Here's our happy ending. I wanted something I wanted just another step. Because we got Rey bearing the thing. That's pretty important, pretty great. But I kind of just want to, like who's telling the story maybe? Or what did they contribute to the future of this galaxy?
Yeah, where's Poe? Where's Finn? Where's Rose? Like those are the three, and of course, where's Rey?
Because, of course, we are very disappointed that Rose and Finn, I'm disappointed that Rose and Finn never had their relationship. Even though it looked like now suddenly Janna and Finn were going to be a thing.
It looked like there was possible.
There was definitely tension, but then Lando just scooped her up. So
yeah, right?
Damn, Lando's smooth.
Okay, just real quick, I honestly thought for a hot second Lando was going to be like, hey, are you my daughter?
We all thought that.
Yeah, but then it was like, oh, damn, he's moving in on her.
That's also because they teased it, too. When they first revealed her at the Star Wars thing last year.
Yeah, I remember.
They actually teased, like, oh, maybe she's related to someone.
That would have been hilarious if all of a sudden Lando suddenly had a daughter.
Yeah, but that would have been fun. I mean, it makes sense. It's Lando.
Yeah, but better yet, a daughter who was forced to become a stormtrooper. How much more complex would his story have been? Oh my god.
Right? Yeah, right. But you don't got enough time in this movie because
that's a whole other story.
Gotta get to that finish.
Yeah.
But I just wish there was a little bit more. I just, it's been how many years? 1977. So if we're gonna really end this whole saga for good, let's really end it.
42 years.
Wow. It's literally been generations of coming on.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. So
I kind of want to pour one out, for Star Wars.
But I gotta say, just like final thoughts on everything. This was the perfect way to end it. I really did not like Episode 8. Episode 7 I was fine with. I was okay. It didn't blow me away as much. But I was also like, let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Episode 8 I really didn't like.
I liked it. I liked it. For all its flaws, I enjoyed it a lot.
I'll give it a second chance eventually.
Yeah.
Episode 9 redeemed it. Episode 9 redeemed everything.
Yeah.
Really did. Everything. Even Episode 1.
Yeah. I mean, like, for real, this is how you want to go out on a movie. Like, on a trilogy, on a story. Like, this is how you want to do it. It's
the saga. I mean, they brought everything in. There's probably loose ends that hardcores want to know that did not get resolved, but, whatever. There's, even like I said, there's a few things I wanted, but not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta also just taking into account that, we're not the hardcores. We haven't read all the books. We don't know all of the history.
I used to be more hardcore. I used to read the books and that kind of stuff. But
I didn't. One, I had about 12,000 other different fandoms. Two,
I had a Star Wars bar mitzvah.
Nice. I did not. I would not have been allowed to. But, it's like my brother, my father, like they're the ones who were all up in it. And I guess that was I sort of viewed it as their thing. So I stayed away from some of this. So, we know some stuff that involved with the EU and all that, but, in terms of the movies themselves, which is where I think we're coming from for the most part, as well as the comics. We didn't touch the comic. No, but talking about the movies themselves, I think this is definitely a great movie, a great way to end it. I'm sure there are gazillion Easter eggs that we missed.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to tell us about any of them, please do, because that would make things so much more fun for us. But for a casual, for a hardcore fan, for everything in between, I think this is it's a strong way to go out.
Yeah, I can't really think of a better way to go. And, granted, it was very breakneck speed. A lot happens. They pack a lot in. Definitely bring some tissues. It's a roller coaster. They pack a lot in. Could have used a little more breathing room, yes. but they got to get through a lot, and they did a good job with what they had.
Yeah, I mean, is it a perfect movie? No, but it's a good movie,
and it's a good way to end everything.
It's a good story.
Yeah,
I think that's the most important thing. It's a good story, and it looked good.
Yes, it did. Yeah. So overall, I think we can give the Rise of Skywalker 2 lightsabers up. One for Leia, one for Luke.
I hate you. I'm gonna give it some General Grievous arms.
Oh wow, you really liked it.
Well, I'm probably going to see it another few times. Yeah. I also feel like this is a movie that you need to see a couple of times.
Probably,
to really, really bring, get the full impact of it.
I don't really see movies more than once in theaters, but I'd probably see it again because there's so much that happened.
No, I'm seeing this one again.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
I'm totally seeing this again. How many more times, I don't know, but definitely at least once more.
So overall, yeah, Rise of Skywalker, amazing, absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
So good, so happy that it ended on this really high note.
Yeah, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know how many times you've seen it in theaters, because we'd love to know that.
Yes, and obviously there's a lot we didn't talk about here, because we could go on for, I'm sure, another hour talk about this kind of stuff. We don't have that kind of time.
No, we really don't.
But if you want to let us know your thoughts in the comments, we'll keep talking down there with you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, because there's so much more to discuss. So bring us your points. Tell us if you liked it, don't like it, or whatever it was. Let us know. We'll take it from there.
Mm-hmm. So with that note, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Matthew. That's our review of The Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9. Normally we do Star Trek videos that say live long and prosper, but we don't do that today.
So we're going to say may the Force be with you.
Yes, may the Force be with you. And hey, like, share, and subscribe. Do you think it worked?
More of a like, share, and subscribe.
You will like, share, and subscribe.
We're just going to...
Can't tell if I'm using the Force now or just waving goodbye. So
we're just gonna be like, woo.
Just gonna transition here. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Wax on, wax off.
Yes, well, wax on,
wax
off. The famous Star Wars quote from Yoda. Off wax you must.
On that
famous
note.
Yoda quote. Yeah, all right. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the new year, and like, share, subscribe. Goodbye.
Bye.